Instagram's up.
YouTube now.
YouTube is going live. So give us just a second. All right, it says we're live.
Okay. These are current questions at the top?
No.
No, those are from last week. Let's renew, refresh. Are we live?
Yep, we are up on everything.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to this 034 Motorsport Live, episode 152. Birthday edition. It's my birthday today, so happy to be on the air with you guys. Yes, thank you. As always, we're here to answer all your questions about all things 034 Motorsport and anything else you want to ask about. We are happy to weigh in on controversial topics with no BS answers and responses. If you like us, let us know. If you hate us, let us know so we can figure that out. We're not really responding to update questions very much. So if you ask, it'll go in the queue, but we probably won't respond to it.
Updates being like, oh, when's this product going to be done? When's this going to happen?
Yeah. So, did I miss anything? Put your questions into the browser of your current experience, and our team will transcribe the question into the phone here, and Nate and I will answer it.
Not a question, but ECS has wished you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, ECS. Actually, I was there last week and had a very nice visit with the team. Really, really cool facility.
Yeah.
That they're expanding. The one thing I saw, which they've advertised, is their automatic boxing CNC machine.
Yes, I've seen some of that.
Which you just put the parts in a conveyor belt and they go, and it builds like a custom box out of a roll of corrugated cardboard. It's pretty cool, really cool. They can do 500 packages an hour.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Someone says, where my B9 dogs at?
We have.
I'd say they're right here.
Yeah, a couple B9 dogs in
We
the
got
room.
a lot of B9 dogs. They were actually at Laguna Seca on Friday.
A lot of B9s out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of B9s. There were Midlife Mods was there with his B9.
Oh,
It's
wrong.
pronounced Vag. Is one of them as well.
It's Vega.
The Vega guys were there with theirs.
Ram and
his
lady were there.
Arm was there. And Sabrina were
We
there.
were there.
We had lots of B9s. So we did some great testing. We did some great ride-alongs.
Yep.
A lot of fun and good time at the track.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think I gave about 6 or 7 rides in our 8YS3, which rocked on track.
Yeah, I did at least that
blast.
for the customer session
Yeah, so it was a good day.
in our
I think we'll be
B8 for me.
Yeah, we'll be producing a video about that so you guys can see it. Someone says, my friend had accidentally put 87 octane in my B9 Audi S5 stage 293. Is my engine going to be damaged, or should I be concerned about this happening?
It's concerning, but I mean, it depends how it was driven. If it was just like filled up and driven, like a normal average person, not like just smashing on it everywhere, I wouldn't worry about it at all. Just get some real gas in there and instruct your friend on how cars work.
I hesitate to say this, but it is true that the octane rating of a fuel really is only a factor or concern or of consequence under full load or high cylinder pressure, which is typically at wide open throttle.
Yeah, and you will get a fair bit of knock activity at light load and partial load with lower octane fuel, with 87. But it's going to be the load's so much lower. The ECU is going to deal with it, and you're not going to have any real consequences from it. But if you're going like wide open throttle, uphill, long sustained pulls kind of thing, that's where things get really sketchy with that.
Yeah, so if your motor didn't blow up, then it's probably fine, and just make sure that doesn't happen again. And if it does, make sure that the car is driven under low or light loads to ensure nothing can happen. If that does happen, though, the sooner you put in some 93, the better, and then that will increase the octane further. Or if you get a hold of some like 100 or something, you can put that in there to counteract the 87-ness of the fuel. What's cooking in the engineering 034 lab this week?
Many things.
We got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I mean it's
we can't
on
really
every
talk
front.
about
Yeah, we can't talk about everything we're working on, but I mean we've got new ECUs we're working on supporting right now in the flatching suite. We've got TCU stuff we're working on. We've got mobile tuning suite development in full swing.
A lot of calibrations.
Different calibrations for different turbos in some very recent VAG platforms, both big and small chassis. What else?
A lot of hardware products.
Lots of hardware stuff we've got in the mix. Lots and lots of hardware stuff. So yeah, we are busy.
Wow, lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
Okay. Is there any way to get a B8.5 S4 to have chop with a cam?
Chop with a cam.
No, I mean, that's actually just easily accomplished via tuning.
Not as much with those. They only have a single cam that moves around. So I mean, it's not really.
No. Seems like you do a bunch of overlap, and
you can't get into overlap that big on that cam because you only got one adjustable cam in it.
No, that's not something we would ever do. Any kind of cam that would run choppy is going to be very aggressive, and though the choppiness is cool, I understand there are tunes out there that do that
on other motors. Not on the
that's why I said it, because I've heard about it on
I
other.
think they pulled back on that, actually.
Yeah, I don't think they do it anymore.
I think it's fully erased off the internet.
The ghost cam.
Really?
Yeah,
it's really dumb.
It's,
because there's just there's no practical benefit unless you wanted some really raunchy like strung out drag motor type.
If
thing.
you had the actual cams that caused it to do that, not falsely forcing.
But you would lose power and torque down low.
Yeah.
So no, that's not something we will be doing. Getting bored of my B9 S4. Anything fun coming out in the close future?
We got turbos.
Well, if you're stock turbo, then you're leaving a lot of fun on the table.
Yep.
So the TTE710, 810, options that we offer now are very fun.
Yeah, we were on track. With 810 and the 750 this last weekend on the S4s, and then the 720 kit on the RS5.
On track, the 810 was no lag issues. It was very fast responding, really nice to drive. The transmission wasn't, just keeps you in the power all the time. So the amount of power the car had was not an issue.
Yep, I didn't hear any complaints about 750.
Yep, same deal.
Yeah, we were on track with our 750 tune as well, so that's coming for all of you who are interested in the pure 750 turbo kit. Also, very, very good performing setup. I absolutely love your tunes and support. How is the tune coming for the S6 C8? I'll be honest, it's not a real high priority for us right now. It is something that we will work on in the future, but right now we're not working on it. But it's in queue to be done eventually. So, in other words, don't hold your breath.
We're not going to try and string you along and say wait till next week or something like that. No, it is low on the priority queue. Just it's when we talk about this a lot. It's just number of cars and what's kind of on the market already dictates what gets put in front of the queue.
Someone says, I see y'all following some models and shit, some horny tuners, huh? I'll be honest, we're as horny as anyone else. I'm not going to try to hide it. It does happen, and let's be honest, it's mostly what Instagram is about, is looking at that kind of stuff and interacting with that kind of stuff, in addition to the car stuff. So, but yeah, no, this is not a nunnery or there's no priests, or no one's trying to be celibate over here, so. Yep, that's what we're seeing. We also like to eat good food, like to go fast, drive cars, all kinds of craziness going on here. B8 2.0's T's need a stage 3 and have still not gotten a TCU tune. Yep. I can't disagree with that.
Do we want to talk about? We are starting to roll out the We were talking about that last week.
What,
the
B8?
The KO4 stuff.
Yeah, talk about it.
So yeah, we are going to be releasing the KO4 file. It is at a point that it's been, fully developed and tested. It's good to go. Whether we'll have like published numbers up on the website when we launch it, I think is the one holdup right now. Because I don't think we have all of the octanes captured right now, but we've got enough data to move forward and get it up there. So, yep, that'll be getting up there. We have TCU stuff to go along with it, so that'll be up there as well. So that'll be coming along probably more like next week. Nick's out this week, so
so that's not stage 3, but I don't think stage 3.
I don't know what you would call stage 3. It's a KO4.
It's the KO4.
Yeah, it's a stage 3 for that era. So.
Back from the B8 days when you were like still in diapers, there was stage 1, 2, KO4, and then stage 3 would have been like
some people called it a
turbo
2
or something like that. So, it's the KO4 file.
Yep.
And then it's not, but the big turbo tunes, which on all the the GTI 2 liters and stuff, those were bigger frame turbos and they're much laggier.
Yep.
So they can make more power, but I think KO4 is a really nice spot for those.
Yeah.
What is the difference between Pure 750 and the TTE810, and why do they put up similar numbers? Although the TTE810 is more expensive on the B9 S4 platform. We haven't released our numbers for Pure 750. We will. I think it's safe to say they're comparable.
Yep.
You can compare more directly once we release ours. The TTE turbos are made in Europe. I know, I know the engineers at TTE, and they do really, really good work. I think I don't know what the cost difference is. I can't speak to that as far as like what's more expensive about one or the other. But I guess everyone can make their decision and choice, and you'll be able to compare, the power bands and outputs. Once we release our numbers.
Yep.
I think the Pure 750 comes out at $3,300 retail, and the TT810 is like $3,900.
Yeah.
So
plus tax and shipping and whatnot.
Yeah, well, they both have that. So it's about an $900 difference between the two turbos. What actually happens if I run stage 2 without all necessary hardware, like an upgraded downpipe or intake on a B9 3.0 T?
Yeah, just don't. There's no reason for it.
Well, why would you?
The turbo mapping is going to be set up for that downpipe, so it's not going to match your basically pre-control mapping for the boost. Boost control is going to be off. There's no benefit to it. You're not going to get more power magically out of doing anything like that.
You should run the file that supports the hardware you have, period. So, it's kind of like saying, what if I wear ice skates if I want to jog in the summer? It's like, well, why would you do that? Just put on running shoes. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to go on the ice, then yes, ice skates are the best thing to have, and so is stage 2 once you have stage 2 hardware. There's nothing special about the stage 2 file if it's not supporting the hardware. I think there's a misconception that there's something magical about the file that even if you don't have the hardware, you'll get a benefit.
Right. No, it's a required hardware for a required reason.
Yeah. I've installed a rear swaybar on a 2008 R32 as well as a 2013 RS5. Would you recommend a rear bar only in the 2018 SQ5 or both front and rear? I think if you in SQ5, I would not do the rear. I think we don't even sell the rear by itself for an SQ5. I would strongly recommend. Well, we require you to run both front and rear sway bars in an SQ5. In fact, we've never tested anything else in the SQ5. It's a much heavier car with a higher center of gravity, and it really needs both sway bars. In the sedans, we do offer an option to run only the rear bar. If you want a much more lively towards oversteer handling, attitude. You can try or test anything you want. We don't recommend it. What are some best practices, mods, safety checks, special maintenance items to protect against B9 3.0 engine failures? How can we best protect ourselves? Definitely, you can have us do a safety check log, which we're happy to do. You can email tuning@034motorsport.com. If you're having any kind of misfiring issues, you're going to want to check your plugs and coils and things like that. Not a bad idea to replace your injectors if you're concerned about it, and just put in some new ones.
Yeah, if you don't know the age or condition of the injector, well, you don't know the condition until you really test them. But if you don't know the age or service interval of the injectors, it is definitely a service item at this point, just like it is on most of the other platforms. So yeah, that's been a big one.
And then just keep up with your maintenance, do oil changes frequently.
Injectors are really the only kind of special item on there for this platform right now. The rest, oil changes, you're going to shorten your oil change intervals a bit, depending on how much power and what kind of fuel you're running. But no, the rest is pretty straightforward, and just stay on top of it. If there's anything weird, if there's anything that's not right, don't just drive through it and think maybe it'll just clear up. Like, try and get to the reason and find the issue without just pushing it until it's a bigger issue. We've seen that a number of times where there's lots of indicators and signs something's wrong well before it's really wrong, and some people just kind of got to win the race or got to do the next quarter-mile pass without actually finding a root of the problem first.
Yeah. Someone's asked about when our 3.0 T PCV upgrade will be released. We don't have a release date yet. We were actually testing it this weekend at the track.
Yep.
Any disadvantage to running a 207 millimeter crank pulley versus a traditional dual pulley on a B8 S4?
It's about the pulley ratio and knowing what ratio you're going to run. The 207 and some of the larger, up to 200 or 190 plus, you might have to shave a little bit of the casting. There's a casting boss right down there that the belt passes by. With the larger pulleys, the belt interferes with that, so you've got to pass that or shave that down.
Yeah.
But no, not really any other disadvantages. You get a lot more belt wrap and surface area, so belt slip is usually less of a problem if you go with a bigger lower pulley versus the smaller upper.
Yeah, it's really up to you, but they're both functional.
Yep.
Are the engine mount worth doing on a Stage 2 RS3 sedan? The factory mounts are very soft. They also have minimal to no NVH, which is nice if that's a big concern. If you don't mind picking up some NVH, our Street Sport mounts are a great option. They're much stiffer. They will give you much more drivetrain control. You will feel the power and the shifts. You'll be much more in touch with the drivetrain as you drive the car, but you are going to pick up a louder engine sound, and the sound of the engine is going to transfer through the car more. So I don't think the Street Sports are bad, but they are not, you're going to notice it. It's not going to like rattle and shake the car and be like a race car or anything, but depends on your tolerance for NVH. So they're very popular. We sell lots of them. They're indestructible. They have a lifetime warranty on the bushings. So it's a great upgrade if you're looking for a more solid connection to your drivetrain, especially when you're driving and getting on and off the throttle and applying power and things like that. And in many cases too, DAZA owners are seeing factory engine mount failures. So, MQB IS38 swap tunes. If so, are you considering supporting files for your downpipe upgrade? Thanks for your great products and weekly show. You're welcome. S38 swap tunes. Yeah, we were
talking about that this weekend too. It's on our radar. It's another one we it's in the queue. When we actually have time to get to it, it's supposed to be like a GTI with an S38 in it. We don't have a roadmap time frame to give you right now for it, though.
No. Definitely something we'd like to do. So. But we are working on something that a lot of people will be very happy about that we were testing this weekend. But we'll leave it for more of a surprise. Hey guys, is the partnership with TTE the only reason why you guys haven't given any thought to Artek intake manifold with port injection? No, those two things have nothing to do with each other.
Nothing to do with each other. You can't just like...
I don't know where these...
Yeah, I have no idea.
Conspiracy.
You can't just put port injectors on a motor and be like, hey, we got all the fuel we need. It's a lot more than that. We are working on a number of fueling solutions for the B9. But the control system is really what is the magic sauce that makes it all work. And that has to be integrated with the factory ECU to do it in a way that is safe, reliable, repeatable, and drivable. I know there's a number of people that have glued on completely independent fueling solutions out there, but I would be very surprised if they drove seamlessly and like it should properly without any compromises.
The Artek manifolds are super easy to do, right? I mean, that's a couple hours in CAD, and you have some manifolds.
Yeah,
and it's a couple hours on the CNC machine, and like Nate said, the real solution is something that's holistically integrated with the vehicle, with the engine management. And Artek hasn't done that. They just did the easy hardware part.
Yeah, that's literally the easiest part in the chain of it all.
So we will release, if we choose to support, replacing intake manifolds with additional injectors, with kind of a port-style injector setup, then we will do it. That's easy. Like we could have a prototype set tomorrow. What we will do eventually is release complete fueling solutions with the hardware and integrated software solutions. And none of that has anything to do with what turbo you're running or what company you're working with. The TTE810 actually does need a fueling solution like that, so I don't even know why any kind of partnership would prevent us from doing that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What's preventing us?
There might be some behind the scenes like rivalry we don't know about, but I don't know.
I'm not aware of that. But for us to just all of a sudden jump on the Artek manifolds without a tuning solution, I mean, the Artek manifolds do nothing without a controller. And like Nate said, you could slap on like an external, injector controller, but that's not the kind of quality solution that we would offer that's integrated with the ECU, that's hassle-free and problem-free, and works in any type of condition. So we will definitely, the platform needs more fuel, and that's what we're working on. But when we bring solutions forward, it won't be with Artek or anything like. It'll be our own 034 Motorsport solutions. What's the deal with R1.4 B9 TTE810 files? Will we get our power back?
The full power files are available. We are working on the naming a bit and how the files are listed. That might be what they're referring to.
I believe they're down.
They're up.
Yeah.
Their majority of them are up. So if they're not there, then
shoot us.
Yeah, let us know. We're rearranging some files and columns there.
Why did they say, will we get our power back? What's that mean?
That's the full fueling file. The new files that
people are running that?
Yeah.
Really? We released those last week?
Yep.
Okay. So those are called standard.
The standard output file.
Yeah. And then there's the high output.
Yep. Yep. So you'll see two different outputs of files up there. So I don't think it's globally up there. I think we're working on getting stuff populated as needed.
How can I confirm that my car is tuned by 034? I just bought it.
You can email us, email tuning at with your VIN. We can look it up and see if it's in our database.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do we want to address this one about IE? I don't know.
That's an answer we always, a question we get a lot is like, how does X tuner get X amount of horsepower out of a stock stage 1 tune or whatever? And it's just, you're kind of splitting hairs for one at those power levels. Like if you're plus or minus 10, 15, whatever horsepower, then who knows how they're measuring it, what conditions they're measuring, what correction factors they're putting onto the crank numbers, because those are crank estimated numbers. So
yeah, we went into this a lot
we've got
a month or two ago,
a
but
bunch of snip outs.
Just because a tuner says their advertised horsepower level is whatever doesn't mean that's actually the case. You want to be able to believe all the numbers out there, but if you find yourself saying, how does so-and-so tuner actually blah blah blah, well, that's just some numbers on the internet. That unless you have measured that and you have confirmed that that's how much power is being produced, then
right,
anyone can say anything. We can go on our website right now and increase all the numbers by 10 horsepower. It doesn't mean that the tunes are making 10 more horsepower.
Yeah, it's
so
trust but verify.
Yeah, it's easy to throw numbers on the internet. Everyone does it.
And there's a number of companies too that also will just inflate all the numbers, and the deltas are all the same. But if you look at the raw number, they're higher because they started from a higher base point. So
well, that's what we've discussed as well. Yeah. So I don't know, Sean, if you can go back and link to some of those clip outs, that would be good. A small amount of oil leaked out of my stock intercooler after I laid it vertically after uninstall. Should I be concerned? No, I don't know what car this is, but it's perfectly normal to have oil in your induction system, which comes from the crankcase breather system. If it's a small amount, it's not a big deal. This is why we make catch cans to catch that oil before it goes into your intake system. Intercooler efficiency is not helped by a coating of oil. Oil does insulate from the aluminum. It's not as conductive as aluminum when it comes to heat. But it's probably not a big deal if it's a small amount. There's certainly cases where when half your intercooler is filled with oil, then yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah.
So
no, I'd consider that completely normal.
I think it's pretty normal. If you have the opportunity to run a catch can, I don't know what application it is again, you can do that and that will help. But no, I don't think you have anything to be concerned about. It's very normal. Someone's asking about when advanced launch control will be released. We don't have a release date. This is like when I go to the restaurant with my kids and we order. I'm like, when's the food going to be done? Like, I don't know. When the guy back there is done cooking it, So we are working on it. It's being worked on, but we don't have a release date. I'm sorry. We do have working versions out in the wild, in the field. If you're really nice and very helpful, you could contact us and maybe we'll ask for your feedback. But we're very far along, and then we will be releasing something. We just don't have a date. Are you guys still releasing Pure 750 files for the B9 S4 before the summer ends?
Sneaking in these update questions.
Yeah. I think it's likely. Like we said 10 minutes ago, we were testing it at Laguna Seca this weekend as part of our testing regimen for tunes and calibrations like that, and it was running very good. So I think we're getting close to finalizing something. We would like to release it sooner than later, so stay tuned. B8, B9, S4, S5 big brake kits. Yes, we were also testing that at Laguna, and it performed very, very well. That was the best braking car of any Audi that we ran at the event. So that's coming soon. The calipers are being made and for us. Do I need test pipes for Stage 2 Plus B8.5 S4 for advanced launch control?
Nope, we have both stock downpipe and test pipe oriented files and all of those have advanced launch control. So, nope.
You recently said you are working on taking the B9 RS5 to the next level. Will this constitute port injection? Taking any of these 2.9Ts or 3.0Ts to the next level is require more fuel. Everything's topped out when it comes to fuel system capacity.
Yeah, whether it's going to be whether we're going to necessitate port injection, we've got a couple of different options we're working on right now. both DI side and port injection side. So we'll pick the best path we can and let you know what it is.
Are you guys making upgraded fuel injectors for the B8.5 S4? We are testing some.
We've got some options.
Options right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Need the lightweight 1.8 T flywheel back in stock. I know. That one is frustrating. A ball got dropped somewhere, and that's why we don't have it in stock, and it's been out of stock for like 6 months. I'm sorry. It recently came to light to me, and I brought it up, and it turns out there was some balls dropped between purchasing and our supplier. We should have had these in stock the whole time, so I'm sorry. If you have an order, I know they're coming soon now. Since I kind of lost my mind, they are now coming, and I think it's maybe going to be a couple more weeks. Would you consider the fun factor from stock to stage 1 as incremental or dramatic on the RS3? Compare, for example, adding camber plates, which is huge.
So I think you're asking tune-wise, stock to stage 1.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is huge. Yes,
it's at least as big as anything.
Yeah, and I would say also be sure to do the TCU in that as well. That gets very much like that is as much I think of a tactile visceral change as the added power is as well.
Yeah, I would say it's. I agree. The camber plates are huge.
Yeah.
I think if you were trying to do the mental gymnastics, compare. I think stage 1 tuning with the TCU tune is a bigger emotional experience, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's generally accepted that tuning's the biggest bang for the buck. Can you run full E85 on CREC engine?
I mean, with the correct mapping for a fully 85 file, yes. We are working on that, and we will have that.
But you'd lose power.
What? For what?
On a fully 85 file.
No, those have injectors and stuff.
The CREC.
Yeah, CREC.
That has the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of CREC, there's a question about your car.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. What do you not like about your 4MQ7? Do you have the supercharged or turbo 3.0? I have the earlier supercharged version, and my girlfriend has the turbo.
So you have access to both.
Yeah. The problem with the turbo version is it's a facelift, and it's like a spaceship interior compared to mine.
That's the problem.
Well, it's tough because it just skews all the
yeah.
perception.
Yeah.
They feel very similar. I was surprised. I thought the turbo would feel a little more sluggish, and it's not very noticeable. It's subtle. I think in the sedans, especially once you turn up the boost, the urgency of the supercharger onset of power is violent compared to the turbo motors.
Yeah.
So I think once I turn up the supercharged power, that will be more noticeable. But there's not much I don't like about the car. It's a fantastic car.
Yeah, they're really good packages.
It gets great gas mileage. It's very comfortable. It's surprisingly fun to drive. It's not bad, although when I got in, after being on track all day at Laguna, and I got back in, and it felt like a wet sausage.
But you got the biggest tires out there.
Yeah, 315s. Now the car's got a lot of grip. It handles great. If I don't drive another really fun car, it feels really fun to drive on a day-to-day basis. I think sometimes I'd say the biggest complaint is for such a big car, it doesn't really have much cargo space. When you have when you're using all 7 seats, there's literally like
body space.
18 inches, in the back. So I have a rooftop carrier to make up for that. The car's been incredibly reliable. Where's some wood to knock on?
You got a huge bunch of blocker.
So I'm looking forward to tuning it, but with our suspension parts on it, our springs and sway bars, the car is fantastic, and our wheels. I really think the 21-inch wheels with the 315 tires. I mean, it's just an incredible combination. And I think I got like 40,000 miles so far on those 315s. So it's not like they wore out real fast or anything.
You got a lot of rubber on there.
A lot of rubber. It's great. It's funny because I huck the car around and throw it around, and the traction controls like really never turns. It's pretty rare when it turns on because the car just has so much grip. So no, great car. Yeah, I strongly recommend it. I think if mine's a 2018 and Tanza's is a 2022, and they're just the user experience is totally different.
Yeah, all your cockpit, like interaction is.
I don't.
updated.
At the end of the day, I really, maybe I'm old and old fashioned, but I really like the older, like just the intuitiveness. And these newer cars, it's like, where do you do this? And you're going through all the menus, and my car is just a button. It's right there.
There's that, and there's also the ability to just reach and feel for what button you're on and to hit it without having to take your eyes off the road.
It's really nice in that way, but like the HVAC's all digital, and you're trying to figure out how, like, we can't figure out how to like adjust the rear temperature. And on mine, you just click the button down, you go to rear, and you adjust it, and it's just everything just works really simple. And I still have the digital speedo cluster in mine, which I like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You have the virtual cockpit on the dash, but not the rest of the glass.
Yeah, but it's just that like new car feel is really nice. So, I installed 034 wheel studs with 19mm nuts. How can I put on my spare tire without packing a bunch of extra tools?
This is not a formatted question at all.
Is this a fake question?
Might be
maybe it's my question.
Might be a marketing leader right there.
All right, marketing asked a very good question, and we do have an answer. So yes, if you have 19mm wrench nuts on your car, which you would have if you convert to our stud kit, we now offer this really slick tool, which gives you a 19mm socket profile, and if you look closely, it says 19 there, and then a 17mm head, which happens to work with the factory tool. So in my opinion, if you have our 19mm wheel studs, you should just have a torque wrench with a 19mm socket in your trunk ready to go at all times. But it's a really good idea to buy one of these tools and put it in your factory toolkit, because God forbid your buddy or wife or girlfriend or whatever wants to borrow your torque wrench, which, women love torque wrenches. And then you're going to be stuck not being able to remove any of your nuts, which everyone knows unremovable nuts can cause a lot of issues. So this will save your butt and your nuts. And what's the price on this?
Oh, cheap.
It's like $15 or something like that.
Yeah. And it's got a 3/8" drive on the end if you want to zip them.
Yeah, and there's a 3/8. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's just a really good quality part. It has our logo on it. I mean, this could be in a Snap-on truck or on the shelf at Home Depot.
$20?
$20, okay. So yeah, anyways, those are in stock on our website, ready to go. If you'd like, add one to your factory toolkit.
They actually did 3D milling on the
the
chamfer.
It's legit. Like we went all out having it. If we're gonna come out with a thing like this,
might as well do it.
These will be really nice. So, all right. Thank you, marketing, for that wonderful question.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. That was a good question. Best part of working at 034.
I mean, I can say it just wholeheartedly, it's not what you think. Probably it's the environment. I think more than anything, it's just the people we work with, the stuff we get to do, but it all comes down to just the people you're working with, and we're all passionate about this. There's not, there's not really any sour apples here. We're all after the same goal. We're all driven. We're all just loving the adventure we're all on to do this. So that's probably the best part for me.
What would you
guys
say?
Literally get to do
I would say the same thing.
Yeah, so like the culture, the people.
It's a culture, definitely. Yeah. Working with cars is also a bonus. I mean,
yeah,
everyone in this building is an enthusiast. Going back to the culture, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own projects, whether it's Audi, Volkswagen, or something else, Subaru, Miatas, etc. Everyone's
B5s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, B5s,
Ford Probes. I mean, we're all over the place here.
BMWs.
Some BMW questions. Yeah.
BMW contingent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Is it sounds great to work on car stuff and to do what we do. Sounds wonderful.
There's a lot of shops out there where they do the same work, but they're just you're working for some megalomaniac, something or other, or it's just a tragic, broken working environment.
Yeah, the problem is nothing. There's no job that's good enough or fun enough or exciting enough, or whatever the content or the subject of it, that can overcome a bad culture, can overcome being treated badly, can overcome negativity and bullying and name calling and passive aggressive behavior and
We've
that kind of stuff.
Seen
that
it
you
all
see.
from people that come in and then talk about past experiences and things.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it hasn't always been this good. It's been hard work.
oh, we've certainly had ups
For
and
all of
downs
us
with the environment, but at the core, I think we've always had a very strong. The upper management team in its years of iterations has always been very positive and very, wholehearted effort at making this a honest and rewarding environment to work in.
From my perspective, as the founder and pretty much the guy running it the whole time, the best part for me is being able to kind of control and heavily influence my workplace and the destiny of it. I did go work for some other people and some other companies early in my career, and there was like a really tough to palate feeling of futility, that we can do things better, things could be better, the opportunity is there, and we can't realize it because whoever is in charge is driven by their own ego or their fragile sense of being offended by everything, or a lack of intelligence on deciphering where the opportunities are, you name it.
All right.
So that was very frustrating for me to be like giving my best and just seeing it squandered away by poor decisions and bad
I think you nailed it at the beginning is ego plays so much of a role in it. Whether you don't have to know everything, you don't have to. I don't know everything. I say I don't know a lot.
I think you're getting up there.
Not having the ego to realize that is kind of key, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that for the last 20 years we've been driven by whatever the best idea was,
Wherever it came from,
whether it was my idea or your idea or anyone else's. Not to say that I aggressively challenge all ideas. I'm sure you guys have all experienced that. But if it's a good idea, we're going to do it.
Gary even had an idea once.
Gary?
Yeah.
So I think for me, just again, being able to be very influential and to create the kind of success that I've been able to create at the company for all of us in the industry has been incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, and I really hope everybody that's worked with us, or from customers to other vendors to competitors and whatnot, can see that as well.
Yeah,
we are what you see. And,
the fact that it's around cars and fun, fast performance driving and solving problems, and that's wonderful, and that makes it great.
Yes,
but again, nothing would make
super awesome. But
a bad culture wouldn't. It just wouldn't be that fun after you might be able to kind of deal with the bad culture for a few weeks or a few months, but after a certain amount of time, it's like, listen, fuck cars. This isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Like having my soul shit on every day, not worth it.
No.
So.
I think that idea right there is a great one.
That one.
I think so too. I'm all for
Steve's
it.
daughters are all over. Yeah.
Are they? That's a thing now.
Yeah.
Someone says, I love you guys, but I'm coming for your world record RS5 pass. Also, are you ever going to release the prototype 18 by 9.3 wheels? Yes. Well, first off, good luck.
Take the pass. Yep, we will.
I hope it's on our tuning.
Chase it down after.
Yes. But yes, the wheels are coming. There's been a lot of delays. Yeah. So, but they are coming, and yes, best of luck with everything. And we love you too. Will 034 ever release any products that address replace failing catalysts on the B8 3.0 T? We thought about it for a while. We decided not to at the time, and we've sort of moved on.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know if we will.
It's not like they fall apart right away. They do have a life. I've had stock cats in my car for quite a while now on full 2+ power levels, and they're just fine. I inspected them last week. So I mean, it's not like it's a one pull and you're done kind of thing. I've got probably 10,000-15,000 on those now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think there are a couple decent solutions out there. I think the best. No, any of these products are not smog legal. They're for racing use only.
Yeah.
But moving the cats down underneath the car, I think, is the right way to go. Because the supercharged motor is just like a laser cutter flamethrower.
Yeah, EGTs are hot and heavy straight into the cat there. It's
going to reduce, cat efficiency because they won't
to
heat
some
up
extent,
quite
but
as fast.
they heat up fast. So
yeah,
like
it's still. I'm not saying it makes them ineffective, but that's why the factory puts them that close. Like they heat up as fast as possible.
They have them inside the head.
Yes, right inside the exhaust port. So. Yeah, but no, we're the first company in the world to release high flow cats for the B8.
Yep.
But there was some pretty bad tuning out there that made it all really bad.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that was a little ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm. Any tip on removing stubborn ball joints on RS3? Hammered it quite a bit and it wouldn't budge. Ball joint remove tool required an insane amount of force, and I'm worried something will break.
And I mean, you might be in a climate where things like to become one with everything else around them.
This is going into the knuckle.
I would assume it's up into the spindle
carrier.
Yeah. I mean, no real tips.
Heat is usually good.
Heat, penetrating fluid, patience, and sometimes lots of force.
But heat, causes everything to kind of expand and move around, and that can kind of break some of those like mechanical bonds between the two parts. So I would say definitely start with heat. If you can, you don't want to burn up any boots or anything, but right on the top.
Yeah, be careful overheating. Yeah, the bearings in the carrier or whatever it is.
Or try to protect the rubber boot if it's going to see some heat. And I think all the force that a puller tool can apply is fine. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, as long as you're properly, actuating on the parts that need to move, and you're not like smashing into like the actual spindle or any of the other like hard parts in the way. If you're able to affect all of that pressure right onto the ball joint or the post, then you'll be fine.
Would gutted cats for the B9 S4 S5 be an alternative for a stage 2 tune? Technically for racing you can gut the cats, if that's what you want to do.
The cat.
Yeah. I'll just warn you, gutting the cat is not easy. It's not as easy as you think.
Or safe or great for your lungs. So don't do it.
We strongly recommend, if you're going to go stage 2, to run our high flow cat. It makes all the power.
I mean, all of our dyno numbers are with that cat in place.
Yeah. And you're really not going to gain any power by gutting the cat over our high flow cat. So. And the noxious nature of the exhaust fumes is not worth it. Not to mention the environment and stuff like that. Is the Merc Racing supercharger really almost $9,000? And if so, would it be too much to expect $600 at the wheel from it without cams?
We aren't setting any kind of price points. I
think there's been some numbers.
There's been some numbers thrown around. I would have to look. I don't know off the top of my head where
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's a huge piece of hardware. It's got a ton of machining. It's beautifully machined.
It's really nice.
It's just. I mean, you're talking a supercharger that's in the if you bought it standalone, probably $4 or $5,000, just in the core of the charger, and then never mind the intercooler bricks, the machining around it. So I mean,
not cheap.
It's one of these things. You're looking at making 500-600 plus horsepower. You're going to pay a little bit of money to do that. Like it's not.
I think based on our initial estimates, this new supercharger flows about 50% more than the factory unit. So we're not advertising any power numbers yet, but
that's the mapped out flow of the charger unit.
And I think the potential for 600 wheels there.
Yeah,
on with the right fuel.
We will We're going to be pushing it real soon.
Any consideration for a 034 competition team or racing program of some sort?
Oh my god,
we've done it. I started the company in the early 2000s, like 02, 03. In 2006, we raced in World Challenge with a Mark IV Jetta 1AT. We won the 25 hours of Thunder Hill, the longest race in the world.
Big part of that.
In 2013.
We used to campaign time attack cars a bunch with World.
We time attacked for like 5 years. Probably between like
global time
2000,
attack. Anything here?
2008. Yeah, I mean, we did
the GP stuff, but yeah, we did global time attack, and then there was I can't remember what the other one was.
Redline,
the Redline series.
We've raced at Pikes Peak. We raced at Bonneville. So we've done a lot of racing in our past. It's a lot of work. It's very expensive, and we learned a lot from it. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that we talk about and we say, and we're like kind of an encyclopedia of automotive knowledge. A lot of that did come from racing and our racing efforts, from going to the track, blowing up, fixing it, sometimes at the track, sometimes in someone's shop in the middle of the night.
Yeah, ask me about a 2-liter dry sump system.
Yeah, I mean, we've done and seen it all. We've built motors, all the stuff we know. A lot of it has come from
torn down motors at 3 a.m. coming off Pikes Peak.
So what we're seeing now is companies like you see like Unitronic, and they have these Audi customer racing RS3 race cars, but they didn't build the car, right? So you just buy a car from Audi. Right. And at the most, you put together a pit crew, and you maintain the car, and you go actually do the effort of racing. But for an engineering company like us, the real benefit is from building the car, from making all the mistakes, from breaking everything, from blowing it up, from rebuilding it, repairing it, improving it. So we could go out and we could throw a couple $100,000 at some Audi customer racing RS3. And we could go do 8 races a year with some hired, race support team. But the benefit to you is zero from a new product standpoint. And of course, we may get some marketing value from it, but we talk a lot about substance here at 034, and that's not substantive marketing. So so right now the best thing we can do is be here, using all the knowledge and experience we have to engineer new products for you guys, and we go to the track and test it. And we use a lot of our racing history and knowledge to do the testing at the track as well.
And there's very few race series that would correlate to anything that would really help you or give you an idea of what our products can do. These series are either really tightly regulated,
spec series.
As a spec series, so you've all got this catalog of parts or these restrictions you're working within, and it's not something that we can be like, hey, 034 won the race, so they must have really good products for my car. It just doesn't cross like that. We have a good engineering firm or something. We did some good work. We spent a lot of money on a racetrack, but that doesn't mean we made a better part for your car.
I mean, the irony is I think Unitronic's racing a car, right? And there's no way that car has their calibration on it.
At the very most, it certainly isn't the street calibration.
It would be
very surprised.
It would be
if it was the same file that is on the street.
I mean, it could be their own stripped down race approved, race series approved file.
Yeah, either way, they have to make a certain 350 wheel.
That's right.
Yeah, they're capped at a limit, and that's not to say we learned stuff when we raced the cars too, but that's also why we spend a lot of time on track with our calibrations, and why we're just the track. But what do we have? 8 cars at Laguna this weekend?
Yeah,
a lot.
I mean, that's every single one of them on our calibrations and our hardware, and our, top to bottom, and we were just out there hammering on them, with logging on them, and it's just so.
With Time Attack was very good. Time Attack was a series where it's unlimited. We could make as much power as we want. So there were certain types of modifications that we had to.
That would put you in a class, but you could go bonkers.
But you could go into the full unlimited class if you wanted, and that's pushing everything to the limit. That's innovating the power and performance of each part at a level that there's no limits on. So really, spec racing series could teach you a lot about how to go racing and the strategy of racing and the logistics of racing. But the cars, are the focus of those series isn't innovation in performance. It's keeping the cars competitively consistent.
They want to put on a good show.
Yeah. So it's really more about what are the drivers experiencing when they get in a car. How does the driver's skill shine versus who built the better car?
Right.
So those rules actually limit the ability of the car to shine. But in like time attack racing, or there are like racing series like in Grand Am or SCCA that are more like you might have to build a 600 horsepower Audi to compete against a 500 horsepower BMW or something, and you're gonna push yourself to the limit.
Oh yeah.
But we've done that, so I don't think we'll be doing any more racing because it's just such a huge distraction.
Yeah, it's hard to do that and get you guys real products that actually you can use.
For the MQB S3, I have the CSF radiators, all 3 units. How does the oil cooler from Racing Line fit into this? We wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know
that directly.
You could try asking Racing Line. To my knowledge, the CSF radiators fit in the stock location, so I think I would assume or guess that it's compatible, but I can't say.
Yeah, because Racing Line,
they just depend on their intercooler setup and where it is.
Yeah, because Racing Lines drops in front of everything, right? That's right on that lower grill.
Yeah. After installing Brisk Racing plugs on cold start for the first 5-ish seconds, I know going to a colder plug can do this. Are these plugs that much colder than factory?
Do what?
No check engine full set.
I'm guessing maybe a little roughness. It doesn't. They don't. I think they skipped over what the actual symptom was.
The coldness of the plug really doesn't apply to those kind of conditions. It's the how hot the tip of the spark plug gets.
Yeah, you might have a gap that's a little off on one of them or something.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the coldness, but Nate's right. If they're not gapped properly or one of the gaps is too big, I could see that causing an issue.
Yeah, it is hard to light off a cold mixture.
It is.
So a stone cold engine with a cold mixture, it's very hard to get that fuel atomized consistently. Yep. So you're gonna have to do these like droplets that got to light off.
Mm-hmm. Will your Pure 750 tune come with a full E85 tune and an E60?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be consistent to our TTE.
Yep, same suite as our 810 and 710 stuff. Difference
between stock front sway bar and 0 through 4 front sway bar in a Mark 7 GT MX7 after... Oh, sorry.
RX7?
Difference between stock front sway bar and 0 through 4 front sway bar in a GT MX7 after installing the 0 through 4 rear bar. Will I lose some of the oversteering if I upgrade the front bar?
Mm-hmm.
You'll lose a little bit of oversteer on like if you just bomb into a corner and lift. But the Mark 7 MQB platform specifically with the front sway bar handles so good, and I actually think it makes the car turn better. It's eerie how good those cars handle when they're set up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And the front bar will give you more grip and traction through the corners, and I don't think you're not gonna notice that it pushes more. In fact, it will feel like it turns even better. So I strongly recommend it in the GTI. That this is one of the platforms that we always say that they handle like front wheel drive cars, even when you add the hull decks in. But they do really shine with a big front sway bar because it is a front wheel drive platform.
Yeah.
What's your highest horsepower dyno reading on your E60 file on the RS5?
I know there's a couple of guys
Mustang
that have done. I can't remember what the numbers they put down were.
Yeah, do we know? I don't know if we know.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Just pull straight out.
I will say they're pretty much within reason, unless it was a dyno jet, where it's obviously.
Yeah, all the Mustang numbers I think I've seen have been pretty close to ours,
Yeah.
or just like a hair higher, but
Mm-hmm.
right in line. So I think we're about out of time here.
Yeah, maybe
One more.
Probably the very top.
Come on, marketing. Look.
Are you guys developing it? Oh, the very top.
Very top.
Okay, yeah. Before we go, we do have a sale going on MQB-Evo, 10% off for the next 2.5 weeks or so through August 14th. and this is on ECU and TCU tuning. This applies to GTI, S3, Golf R, all the
all the Mark 8s,
all the Mark 8 stuff that we
low
offer.
torque,
Yep.
all of it.
Yep.
So yeah, now's a great time to jump on. We released Stage 2 recently for S3 and Golf R. Yeah, I think we're out of time.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep. So, all right, guys.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We will see you, I think, next week. Yeah,
As far as I know.
hopefully.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
See you.